Ayup and welcome to this week's Shimmy TV vehicle review in conjunction with Nottingham Post. This week we're testing the all-new Mercedes-Benz C-Class Coupe, and that's courtesy of Inchcape Mercedes-Benz. Thanks a lot, and let's have a look. Now, the new range of C-Classes have taken on a whole new different shape. They don't resemble the old C-Class at all. Now, I was always a huge fan of the old C-Classes, both the Saloon and the Coupe. Now, the new C-Class Saloon, I wasn't all that keen on the shape of it when I first saw it. However, as soon as I saw the AMG version, I fell in love with it. Now, the C-Class Coupe, on the other hand, whether it be, you know, the AMG or the base model, which in this is, I think the shape of them is absolutely gorgeous. And yeah, it's a real, I mean, it kind of looks a little bit like a baby S-Class Coupe. My favourite angle of the car is the rear. That's I just think it looks freaking awesome from the back. Previous Mercedes-Benz C-Class Coupe was an awesome little car, and it's just a question as to whether the new C-Class Coupe is as good, and if not better, than its predecessor. It's powered by a 2.1 twin-turbo diesel engine, and that puts out 168 brake horsepower and 295 foot-pounds of torque. Now, it goes from 0 to 60 in 7.5 seconds and hits a top speed of 145 miles an hour. So, considering it's actually bigger than the previous C-Class Coupe, it still does you know, pretty impressive performance figures and pretty impressive power. So let's see what she's like to drive. So this time, this is pretty much a base model Mercedes C-Class Coupe. It's like I say, it's only got 168 brake horsepower, so it's never gonna, you know, it's not gonna blow your socks off. But saying that, you know, first impressions of driving it definitely doesn't hang around. The engine feels fantastic, and I've got a feeling that part of that is down to the gearbox. It's a 9-speed auto gearbox, and I mean, who knows where the amount of gears are going to end, because now we're on 9. It's gone, you know, 5-speed, 6-speed, 7, 8, 9. But it is a really intelligent gearbox, and it's changing gear so often I don't even realise when it's changing gear. It's that smooth and that slick. So inside you get all the extras that you'd hope to get from Mercedes, you know, rear facing camera, parking sensors all around, you've got sat nav, and you know, your multimedia system, onboard computer. Everything, as I always say with Mercedes, is real easy to use, and you don't need to be a genius to work it. Same as with the A250 that I tested last time, it's got an option here on the center console called Dynamic Select, and with Dynamic Select you can choose between like 5 different options: Eco, Comfort, Sport, Sport Plus and Individual, and with each of those options it changes completely how the car feels, and with Individual you can choose exactly how you want the car to feel. So for instance, you can have a more sporty feeling engine, but with a nice comfortable suspension and not so sporty, and vice versa. So yeah, as with all of the new Mercedes, you can, you know, make this car feel exactly how you want it to feel. The interior of the C-Class Coupe is space-wise, you know, there's plenty of space both in the front and for the back passengers as well. I can imagine if you were quite a tall person, you know, 6 foot up, you might struggle a little bit with head height, but obviously for me it's absolutely fine. But that's the only thing that I could imagine you might struggle with. Storage space, the boot's plenty big enough. There's plenty of cubby holes everywhere. Yeah, everywhere you turn, for storage, cup holders, etc., both in the back as well. And yeah, I mean, it's designed really well, and really just as all Mercs are very elegant and super easy to use, and styled really well. It's a gorgeous looking car inside, simple but effective, I like to say. I tell you, the brilliant thing about the new C-Class is, especially this one, the C220, which, like I said before, is a 2.1 twin turbo diesel engine, is it's so cheap to run, like ridiculously cheap to run. I mean, I put £40 in it to go to do a bit of running about the other day, and it's just been running forever and ever, and it's still got a quarter of a tank. Can't tell you how many miles I've done to that 40 quid, and like I say, it's still got way over 140 miles left on the range, but I've done a lot, and I haven't been taking my time at all. Another great thing as well is the CO2 emissions are really low. I'm sure it's 109, the CO2 emissions, which means that to tax it is only about 20 quid a year, 25 quid, something like that. So that's the great thing about this car, is that you're getting something that's super elegant and super good looking for a tiny cost. Now I have to say, even though the C220 isn't designed for it, it handles fast driving pretty well. I mean, the body is super rigid. You get a little bit of body roll. Obviously, this has got the big, chunky tires on it. It's not, it hasn't got the 19s or anything like that. So it's a little bit wallowy, in entering a corner. But once you're in the corner, it feels nice and planted, and very little understeer. It just feels very well balanced through corners. You get excellent response from the 2.1 litre engine, but also, the C-Class isn't designed for fast driving or anything like that. It does it very well, but at the end of the day, it's not designed for it. It's designed for, comfort and efficiency, and all of that it does really well. I'm super impressed with it, and I think it's a bloody brilliant car. It really is. Again, it's a car that if I had to live with it, I'd be more than happy living with it. It's it's a super nice car, real nice. The new C-Class Coupe is a freaking brilliant car. It really is. I mean, my highlights with it is how cheap it is to run. I've said it already and I'll say it again. It's the miles per gallon are just ridiculous. It's 40 quid. I've done probably, you may as well say, just over 400 miles. That's 100 miles to £10. I can't remember the last car, fully petrol car that I've driven that will give you that sort of MPG. The driving assist pack that this one's equipped with, which isn't standard, is an optional extra, is just the most advanced and most intelligent thing I've ever seen on a car. I mean, the car will literally drive itself, and you literally don't have to do anything. I mean, you have to obviously keep your hands on the steering wheel, but you set cruise control to 75 miles an hour, put lane assist on, and this active steering, and the car will literally follow the lines of the road, and will keep a safe distance constantly between you and the car in front. It's like I say, it's just one of the most intelligent cars I've ever driven, and I'm so impressed. I can't believe that this is, you know, the lower end of the C-Class range. It's pretty impressive. Well, really impressive. The only downside that I would give to this, and I think I mentioned it before, the only downside I would give is the warning systems on the C-Class. I just wish they weren't so active. I mean, if you're driving in a little bit of a haste, you're literally getting a beep all the time. You know, it's warning you of, you know, a car on the left, a car on the right, the car in front is constantly going off. But, you know, as I said before, if it's preventing crashes, then brilliant. And, you know, if you drive I was just about to say sensibly, if you drive steady, you'll probably never get it beeping at you. But me, put my hands up, I don't drive steady. I'm not a steady driver. I like to get somewhere quickly, and this is constantly beeping at me, and it's just freaking annoying. But other than that, that's the only real downside I can give to it, if I'm honest. In my humble opinion, all in all, if you're after a car that's, you know, is very cheap to run, looks great, is super comfortable, is, you know, just a very good all-round car, the C-Class Coupe would be a very good option. There are areas where some of the rivals might be a little bit better, but I think all in all, this is a pretty perfect car. And like I say, the one real strong factor is it's peanuts to run. So yeah, that's my opinion.